All right, this is the practice test for exam number 1. So I'll go through these. There are a couple that I'm going to do separately on a different video because I want to be able to show you the TI-84 calculator. Number 1, an accountant was struck by lightning 3 times in his lifetime. Well, it's not possible and likely. In the United States, there's only about 270 people every year that get struck by lightning. And worldwide, there's only about 2,000 every year. So it's not impossible, but it's possible, but very, 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 very unlikely to get struck by lightning once, let alone 3 times. It ain't going to happen. After inspecting all 55,000 kilograms of meat, it's found that 45,000 kilograms were spoiled. Is that a parameter or a statistic? The key word is all. When we're inspecting everyone, you're using the entire population, you've got a parameter, the entire population. If the problem had said, well, I inspected 1,000 of the 55,000. Well, 1,000 of the 55 would be a sample. You're not selecting all. When you see the word all, it's you're inspecting the entire population. It's the parameter. Find the appropriate level. Good, better, and best is very similar to A, B, C, D, 1 star, 2 star, 3 star. It's the ordinal level of measurement. Good, better, and best, 1 star, 2 star, 3 star, A, B, C. Ordinal. Temperatures. Temperatures are automatically the interval level of measurement. There's only 2 things really we study there at the interval level of measurement. It's temperature and time of day, like 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, and so forth. Not length of time, but time of day. When you see temperature, we're assuming it's either Fahrenheit or Celsius. All right, it's automatically the interval level of measurement. All right. Number 5, convert 34.4%. Well, to convert a percentage to a decimal, we need to divide by 100. All right, percent, 34.4 over 100. What that would do is move this decimal point 2 places to the left. So we see 2 answers there, letter C, and we also see letter D. Now the question is, which one of these expressed as a fraction is the correct one? Is it 43 over 1 1/4 or 42? I'll show a video. In fact, I can probably do it here. I'm not sure you're going to see it, but at least you get the idea of how you do this. Let me clear this off. You can't see it all that well. Let me clear. What I would do is this. I would put in my calculator 0.344, and then what I would do is I would go to my math key. The very first option in the math function here is fraction. I would press enter and then press enter again, and if you can read it over here, it says 43 over 125. To change a decimal to a fraction, you go to the math key once again, and the very first option is fraction. All right, so you would have put in the decimal first, go to the math key, hit fraction, hit enter twice. The calculator would take that decimal and change it to a fraction for you. Pretty nice. And what happened, I got 43 over 125. And let's see, this was number 5, letter C. 43 over 125. All right, 0.344, math key, fraction. And there you have it. You got to test some of these questions. I mean, anything in mathematics, sometimes the question is really straightforward. You could use some common sense. You got a test with 80 questions. You got 76 right. Wow, you only got 4 wrong. Well, the question is, did you get 105? Well, no, the highest grade you can get is 100. You certainly didn't get 5% getting 76 right. You didn't get 0.95 of 1%. You got a 95. And what you would do here simply is, take 76 divided by 80 questions, and if you take that and express it as a decimal, you're going to get 0.95. 76 over 80. 76 divided by 80, if you did it on your calculator, yeah, 0.95. Now, 0.95 as a percentage, 0.95 as a percentage is 95. But my point being here, you get 76 out of 80. You know you did really, really good. You got 95. You didn't get a 95, a 0.95 of 1%. You shouldn't get a 5 on a test, a 5 for a grade. And there's no way of getting 105. There's nothing about extra credit here. So, identify which types of sampling: random, stratified, systematic, cluster, or convenience. Well, first of all, you'll never have an answer on the exam that'll be random. The reason being is that random is part of stratified and is part of cluster. So never will the answer be random. All right. So to avoid working late, the analyst simply inspects the first 100 items. Well, convenience. He made it really easy for himself. All right. It wasn't systematic. He was checking every 5th or 7th. Cluster, he didn't break them down into items that had something similar and then survey all of them. He wasn't stratified. He didn't break them into parts that had something in common and then decided to, select a few of them. Convenience. The easiest way out of it, he picked the first 100, did it, and he went home. Convenience sampling. Pretty straightforward. Number 8. Key thing in here, he broke the, he selected 48 middle schools. Now, these schools had something in common. They were middle schools. And then he surveyed all of them. If he had surveyed just some of them, it would have been a systematic sampling. Well, you see the word all right? You know it's cluster sampling. The things they had in common is that they all were middle schools, and then he interviewed all the teachers. Cluster, that's the key word. Number 9, find the class boundaries for this particular interval between 40 and 59. And what you do, you take the lower boundary, you subtract 5/10, which gives you 39.5. And I see 2 answers with 39.5. You take the upper limit. In this case, we're doing between 40 and 59 right here. You take the upper one and you add 5/10. Add 5/10. So this is 59.5. Subtract 5/10 from the lower and add 5/10 to the upper. Subtract 5/10 from the lower, add 5/10 to the upper. And we see that is letter D. Number 9, letter D. Subtract from the low, add to the high. Class width is described as being the difference between any 2 lowers or any 2 uppers. So let me find the difference between these 2 lower boundaries. 111.0 subtract 80.0 is 31. Same idea. If I took 265.9, this upper, and I subtracted the previous upper, the difference here would be 30. It's the difference between any 31. It's the difference between any 2 lower boundaries or any 2 upper boundaries. Take 235, subtract 204, 31. 173 minus 42, 31. 172.9, subtract this is 31. All right. And so that's letter D. Number 10, letter D. Midpoint is a halfway point. Let me just slide this up a little bit. Halfway point. So if I take 235.0 and I add to that 265.9, 9, 10 carry to 110, I got 500.9 divided by 2.9. So this would be 250.45. Alright, 0.45, letter C. Add them and then take the sum, finding the average. Alright, take the low, you add the high, and you divide the sum by 2. So number 11 was letter C, 250.45. The low, and he was specific which one he wanted. He wanted the midpoint of this particular class. Take the 2, add them together, find the midpoint, the halfway point. Alright, that's number 11. Cumulative. Well, the first thing I need to do in the cumulative is I need to add up The frequencies. Well, before I even start that, let me just say this: when you're presented with a cumulative, all right, cumulative frequency, it always starts out with the words less than. Less than. You have less than here. Less than. This one here does not have less than. I know it's not letter C. It always starts out the word less than. All right, cumulative. What I need to do is right here. It starts out with the lower class limit of the second class. How many values were lower than 17? Well, right up here, between 69 and 71, 19. All right, so I see 19 here. Now, how did they get to 36? They took the 19, they added the 17. That gave them 36. They took the 36, added the 50, and they got 51. Took the 51, added the 20, that gave them 71. 71 plus 9 more. All right, but the minute I saw the 19, I mean, this was wrong. I don't know where that's coming from. The minute I knew how many values were less than 72, well, right up here, there's 19 values. So I saw that. I knew that answer was D already. I'm moving on. It could have been this guy because it didn't have the words less than. But notice these numbers and these numbers are exactly the same. But the reason that this wasn't the answer because it has to start out with the word less than. All right, so that's number 12. Number 13, you need a relative frequency. Relative. Well, first thing I need to do is to get, he doesn't tell me the total here. I'm going to change these into percentages, but I need to know the total. If I added up these 5 numbers, I would have got a total of 328. Now, this first frequency, 60. 60 over 328, the total is 0.1829. And if I change 0.1829 to a percent, I want to multiply by 100, move that 2 places to the right, 18.29. There's only one that has the correct answer, the first answer. So it can't be any of the others because none of the others have the first right answer. Well done. Letter C, 18.29%. I'll put a percent sign here. And but here again, the missing part here was he didn't give you the total. So with your calculator, you just add up the frequencies, get a total, divide, pick one of these. I could have put 76 over 328, and that would have come up to 22.26. I just simply chose the first one to put it over the total. All right, a dot plot. It's kind of like, I don't know, pretty straightforward. As I look at these here, I see a dot over the 11. That's 10, that's 11. I see a dot over an 11. I see a dot over an 11. I see a dot over an 11. This one doesn't have any dot over 11. Well, if I look at my numbers, guess what? There is no value of 11. So it can't be A, B, or C because they all have one value of 11. Now, there's no values of 11. There are 2 12s. There's a 12 here and a 12 there. That's why there's 2. There's 2 13s. There's 1 there. There's 1 there. But the minute I saw that each of these A, B, and C had a dot over 11, but guess what? There's no 11. So this is the only one that didn't have a dot over 11. It's the correct one. Letter D. A little bit of common sense. Mean weight. I want to do that one special. I want to show you on the calculator how to quickly find the mean. The median, we could just put these numbers in order, or I could use the calculator. Putting them in order, I guess 7 is the smallest number. Next number, I guess, is 16. After 16, no, I take that back, it's 10. All right, then 16. And then we've got 26. And we've got 30. And 40 and 43. I missed a 21 too, didn't I? All right. So maybe I should just have used a calculator from Jump Street, but let me try this again. Smallest number, 7. All right, got it. Next biggest number is 16. All right, got it. After that is 21. Got it. Then 26. Got it. Then, yeah, I still messed up my 10. I don't know what is going on here. Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm just going to do that on a calculator. Apparently, I can't list these numbers in order. I don't know why I'm having such a problem doing that. One more time. 7 to 10 to 16 to 21 the 26, the 30, the 40, and the 43. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, there's an even amount of numbers. All right, so I'm going to take the two middle ones. All right, there's an even amount. You average out the two middle ones, provided I put them in order. It took me a while to do that. Halfway between 21 and 26. 21 plus 26 is 47. If I take 47 and I divide it by 2, I'm going to get 23.5. 23.5, if you can see it over here. All right, equal 23.5. All right, an even amount of numbers. I put them in order. It took me a while. I took the two middle ones and I averaged them out. If there had been an odd amount, there would have been an exact middle one. All right, but there's an even amount. Take the two middle ones after you put them in order. 23.5, number 16. Find the mean. You got a frequency distribution, so I'm going to do this on the calculator. Weighted average. Weighted average. Let me see. Variance and standard deviation. I'll do those separately on another video because I want to show you the calculator. But weighted average is the score times the weight. Now we had 4 test scores here, and each one of them was worth 15%. So 0.15, and we've got 4 tests. A 73 and a 77 and an 82 and an 86. All right, plus the weight of the final exam. The final exam, he tells me, is worth 40%. Well, 40% as a decimal is 0.40. And the score on the final was a 93. Now, this is divided by the sum of the weights. 15%, 15 is 30, and 15 more is 45, and 15 more is 60, plus 40%. This always works out. For these problems that you're going to get, it always works out to be 100%, which is the whole number 1. Simply stated is, all you need to do is this multiplication, and you get your answer, because division by 1 will just be that. So, 0.15. I'm going to total up these scores here. I'm going to use my calculator off to the side just to get a number. And what have I got here? 73. A 73 plus a 77 plus an 82 plus an 86. 73, 77, 82, and 86 gives me 318 plus 0.40. I can push this up a little bit. Plus 0.40 times the 93. So 0.15. This gives me a 47.7 added with 0.40 times a 93 gives me a 37.2. And if I add those two together, 37.2 plus a 47.7 gives me an 80. What do we got here? I'm doing number 84.9. Let it be number 18. This is a 84.9. So it's all of these tests times their weights. I could have gone 0.15 times this individually, 0.15 times that, and 0.15 times the other two. It's easier just for me to add up the test scores. Each one of these 4 are worth 15%, 0.15. The final was a 93, and it was worth 40%. The denominator will always equal 100%. If I add up 15% 4 times and 40%, 100% is always 1. So all I need to do is calculate the numerator, because anything divided by 1 is just going to be that. And this was 84.9. Multiplying 0.15 times that sum plus 40% times the 93, 84.9. All right, what do we got here? 21. And he's asking us, find a standard deviation. And once again here, we've got a frequency distribution. I will do this on a separate video. Percentile. First thing I need to do is to put the numbers in order. All right, from smallest to largest. So I got a 30. And let's see, the next biggest number is a 38. Next biggest number is 44. Got it. Then I got a 55. Got it. And then a 66, a 67, and a 68. And he's asking me, what's the percentile for 55? Well, the question is, how many values are smaller than 55? There are 3 of them. Notice I had to put them in order. So I'll take the number of numbers smaller than my target number divided by the total number of numbers I have here, which is 7, and I'm going to multiply this by 100. So 3/7 times 100. 3/7 times 100. I get 42.8. 42.8. And obviously my rules tell me to round. What am I doing right here? 42.8, round up to the next highest digit. All right, because of the 8. 8's bigger than 5, so I'm going to round up to 43. When you're finding the location, you always round off. Rounding off 42.8, go to 43. So this number 55 is in the 43rd percentile. I put my numbers in order, found my target number, took how many numbers were smaller than that. There were 3 of them. There were a total of 7 numbers. I took that fraction and multiplied it by 100. 42.8 rounds up to 43. It's in the 43rd percentile. Find P46. All right. So let me just give you a little formula here. The location of the number that's in the 46th percentile is found by using this little formula. Take the percentile given, divide it by 100, and multiply it times how many numbers you have. Alright, so in this case here we're looking for P46. So the location of the number that's in the 46th percentile is the percentile we're using, 46 divided by 100 times how many numbers we have. And let's see, we've got 32 numbers. Alright, so it's 46 over 100 times 32 numbers. Now doing this multiplication, if I can find my calculator. Let's see, 0.46 times 32 comes up with 14.7. Now, when you're finding location, you always round up to the next number. You would have rounded this up because of the 7, all right? But this had been a 2, a 3, or 4. I still would have gone to raise this up to 15. That's not the answer, mind you. Notice our letter C has 15. No, that's the L, the location of my answer. It's in the 15th position. So that's 3, 6, 7, 8. This would be the 16th position. The number in the 15th position is right here. There's 8 here, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. The number you're looking for is 68. Notice how they try to trick you. When you do the multiplication, you get 15, but that's the location of what I'm looking for. It's not the answer. In fact, 15 is not even one of the numbers. P85. I'm going to take 85, put it over 100, multiply times how many numbers I have, and I've got 40 numbers here. So 0.85 times 40 numbers, I get exactly 34. Now he says this, when you do your multiplication there, you take your percentage, your percentile divided by 100, multiply by how many numbers you have. If it comes out to be a whole number, You take the number in that position, that location, and you add the one in the next position, and you average them out. Very similar to finding median when you have an even amount. You take the two middle ones. So the number in the 34th position, let's see, 10, 20, 30. There's a 34th, and there's the 35th. Well, halfway between 85 and 89 is 87, number 24. When you do your multiplication, if you get two things, if you get a decimal, you always round to the next highest number, no matter what the decimal is in the tens place. If you get a whole number, like we did here when we multiplied, you take the number in that position, the 34th position, you add to it the number in the 35th position, and you find the average of those two numbers. Halfway between those two was, or is, 87. Here, I'm going to use the calculator because it's a heck of a lot easier doing it that way. So that stops it for now. I'll create the other video, and it'll be posted.